Okay, sorry about that. We are gonna get started in a few minutes. Where is my Finder? Here we go. Just gonna open up the stuff I need. Okay. Well, sorry, I should have opened all these things in my other monitor, but moving slowly. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. We'll get started in a few minutes. Actually, I have a few things to go over. Just gonna give about 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes, and then we'll get started. I wanted to start 5 minutes early, but time just got away from me. But we'll give a few more people some time. And I think I might do a poll to ask people, like, how do they feel about me just having your phone notify you about this versus sending an email. I'm hesitant to send the email because I don't want you guys to receive an email twice every Monday. I feel like that might be too much. But you tell me if you feel like you're okay with receiving two emails, because essentially you would receive an email saying I'm going live, and then you would receive another email um, where it would be the actual post. So I don't know if people would be okay with that. All right, let's get started in about 10 seconds. All right, so hold on, let me see what order I have things in. I don't want to do the grand reveal in a different order, but I think I know what I want to talk about first. So let's just have a quick look here. Yep, okay. Let me set myself up, moving things out of the way. You guys are probably like, what is she doing? All will be revealed in a moment. All right, I'm going to flip my camera around and I'm going to slide my little station over. Okay, hello. Um, so I showed this recently and I said, hey, you guys, guess what this is? I'm not going to dox myself and turn it around so you guys can see my address. But this is so a while ago, not a while ago, but when I did the Top in Fiction annual recap, I was like, huh, I wonder if I could get that printed like a magazine and what that would look like, what the quality would look like, etc. Let me do a test and see. So I found a company. I went through multiple different avenues to try to find a reasonably priced company to print out what I sent you guys as a PDF. And it came in the mail last week, and I did peek at it. I couldn't wait to do this Monday thing, but let's do the grand reveal for you guys. I'm going to pull it out of the envelope so you can take a first look at it. And if enough people say that they want it, are willing to pay for it. Obviously, I will do a bulk order of these and send them to you. Um, I'll calculate what that would come to, but okay, so here we go. Unfortunately, this is going to look backwards, so I apologize, but okay, so here it is. It came in this lovely plastic, so we'll take it out of the plastic, and it's essentially the size of a magazine, which is pretty cool. Um, I wonder if there's a way for me to show it to you properly. But here it is. And then here's the back where it says thank you for reading. Um, and it's really quite awesome. So the table of contents, now that I know what it looks like I would have made this a white page so that it wasn't directly behind the cover. I would have made this white so that it would have ended up on this side. That's just the um, I've printed enough books to know how that works, or I've self-published enough books to know how that works. But here's the cool part. Here's the directory of writers, which takes up um, 4 pages. So that's all here, and then we get on to um, the list. So here's the list, and then here are all the pages that I made up, which are just pretty cool. You can see, like, here's the horror page. Um, it's just really so awesome. And then we get to the part where it's all the weekly issues. So here are the weekly issues, and they're all here, all 25 of them. It's actually really big. Like, now that I'm looking at it, I totally could make this so much smaller and probably put other things in here. Because I didn't realize just how big I was making this. But and then the last part is all the monthly recap pages, which are here. There's only 6 of them. Um, and then I've got a bit of acknowledgments where I'm thanking some people in the back, and then the last page. So altogether, it's I think 60 something pages. Um, in order for me to get it this way, which is with the 2 staples, it couldn't be more than 64 pages. So I had to remove a few pages from the PDF that you guys got. Um, but I'm learning, I'm figuring out, and it really came out really well. If I did it again this year, it would be twice as thick, so it would be 100 and almost 150 pages. So it would definitely be probably more costly. Um, it would have an actual spine. It wouldn't be able to be stapled. It would have to be probably glued. There would be a whole bunch of other factors to take into um, consideration if I were to do it. Um, it looks the right direction on your screen. Okay, because for me it looked like it was backwards. I'm like, oh my god, I'm showing these guys this magazine backwards. But if you're seeing it so you can read it properly, that's great. Okay. I was thinking of that to release it every 6 months. I could again. It would only be if enough people wanted this. Um, and I was also thinking if I were to do it either quarterly or biannually. if I would include actual stories as well, make it worth it because right now it's while it's cool and it's a cool thing to have and see your story here um, listed. That's all it is, right? It's almost like having a phone directory where I'm just like, oh, let's see a list of a bunch of writers that are really awesome. And then, I can see the list of writers here because it's tangible. It's not like it's a PDF, which would probably be something I would invest more time in, is making the PDF um, more user friendly, such as one of the things I'm thinking I'm definitely going to do with the PDF at the end of this year, whether I do it every 6 months or not, is the page here. I want to actually make them clickable links, um, which will take a long time because it's, 350 plus names. So I want to be able to take those names and make it so that when you have the PDF, if you click on it, it'll take you to that person's profile page. That's I have a bunch of little goals like that on how I want to, now that I have this in front of me, improve it at least for PDF people. Whether or not I want to take the time to turn this into something that you can um, kind of get a subscription of, like if I were to turn on paid subscriptions and people would actually want to do it, I think I would only do that if I knew for a fact that, I was going to have 25 people who want to have this, get this biannually or annually, or whatever the case may be. Otherwise, I just feel like it would not be cost effective for me to do this. But I will. Um, can we send you something that is copy and pastable for you to make the links? Can you be more specific on what you mean by that, or you can DM me an example if you want. DW, yeah, I'm more than willing to, get any suggestions that you may have. Um, but this is pretty time consuming and I feel like the PDF might be worth putting more of my time and investment in. But what I will do is I will say, if you are willing and if you do want this print copy, um, this, or if you want to um, be like a paid subscriber, please do let me know in the comments. DM me, whatever the case may be, and I will put it out to the community and say, and again, if I get, right now I'm saying 25, but I might want to say, like, if I have 50 people, there's probably a set number I'm thinking in my head that would be worth me getting all of them because I would have to treat this almost like a Kickstarter, right? I would have to get all the magazines shipped to me and then I would have to go ahead and buy the materials to then ship it out either globally or just within the US. So it's not something that, you know, would be very easy for me to do. And especially because I wouldn't be able to necessarily put it on an Amazon or something for you to order because then I would have to deal with ISBN issues, free ASIN issues, all of these different things, which I won't get into right now, but in the top of mind. Okay, something else I wanted to bring up is I wanted to talk about Chris from Mark of the Brand. So he and I have been meeting. We've had I want to say our second meeting this past Friday. It was so awesome. I think this week he said he's going to have basically the new logo and the new brand for Top and Fiction done. Um, I am hoping that I'm going to be able to give him something towards what it all costs. My plan and my goal is next week, Monday, I'm going to start talking numbers with you guys. I'm going to share how much the logo and all the branding is going to cost. And I'm also going to share with you how much I'd like to raise for the Top in Fiction Scholarship. So if numbers are something that make you a bit squeamish and nervous, then you may not want to be here for that, or you may not want to watch the video or read any of the information. But I am going to lay out all of the numbers and let you know how much I've raised so far, how much I need to raise in order to get those two things done and good to go for this year. So there will be a link if you want to donate. In today's email, I would love to have or be able to pay for a quarter of the full amount in the next week or so to Chris, Mark of the Brand. And then I also want to introduce and open up the floor for getting scholarships and giving those out to people who need it. Because I see so much of the fiction community and the fiction writers who are working on, self-publishing their book, and there are things that I'm sure Top and Fiction could help with, help those people with financially. So, uh, next, I wanted to talk a bit about the Send Us Your Fiction Friday email that goes out because I am seeing a lot of comments and getting um, just lost audio and video. Well, I'm seeing your chat, so hopefully nobody else lost audio and video. Um, okay, so I sent out a note 3 days ago that was talking about what I saw when or what I see when I look in the stats. I don't usually look in the stats specifically towards posts, and I really should, just to see how they're doing. Um, but what I wanted to point out is when I tell you guys how important it is, and that's for readers and writers who are listening to this and who are going to be reading um, today's email, when I say that the Friday email that I send out where it's send us your fiction is important, I mean it. And um, I will share screenshots if you want to see them where I'm proving my point in that there are more people looking at the Friday email than the Monday one. And so I know there's a bit of I don't want to say anger or resentment, but there's a bit of an issue with people who are saying they don't share their stories or what they've written in the Friday email because they don't get chosen as often as they'd like for Monday's email. I really hope that people will change their attitude about that because the Friday email is the one that people look at the most. Sure, the Monday email is cool because you get singled out, you get a medallion, you're on the PDF. I understand that. But when you're talking about eyeballs and people clicking and wanting to read your story, Friday is the email you want to make sure you're in. And there's a reason why I shut it down and I don't allow any more comments on the Friday email in 48 hours because I understand just how valuable and important that email is to people and how people will go back weeks later looking for new fiction that they haven't discovered yet and they will go back and go back and go back, and there is a 2-to-1 ratio on the open rate. So the Friday email has like between 50 and 75% open rate versus the Monday, which is really low at about like between 15 and 25% is the open rate for the Monday emails. Now, that's something I have to think about internally, which is why are there less people opening and reading Monday's email versus Friday? But that's not really the point of what I'm trying to get across. The point I'm trying to get across is if you've written something in the last week, you want to make sure every week you're putting it in Friday's email, regardless of whether or not it gets chosen for Monday. More eyeballs, whether they're new subscribers or old subscribers, are looking at Friday's email over Monday. So I hope that more of you will make sure that you share your work, share what you've read in Friday's email every Friday. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about is this is the last time I'm going to mention the Top and Fiction Presents Valentine's Day submissions. The entries are going to be going on until this Friday night, January 31st. Make sure you submit your story, your poem, your Valentine's Day card, whatever the case may be, by this Friday because with closing the submissions window after that, so you have till this Friday so that then Meg and I can look over everyone's submissions, pick our favorites, etc. So any genre is accepted. Just because it's Valentine's Day doesn't mean if you write horror you can't submit. We are accepting any and all genres. for that. I will also be on notes trying to promote this as well because I feel like I dropped the ball a little bit in promoting that this is happening. So I want to make sure I get these last 5 days, get the message out, submit your story. Uh, okay, so the last thing I want to bring up is I also on Substack notes mentioned a having a TIFF sociable. There was a lot of people who were willing and said, "Oh, we'd love to do something like that." So here's what the idea would entail. It would be something like this. I come on here, talk to you guys, but I then want to invite other people to come on and read their work. And I want to try to do this once a month so that we're hosting a sort of a round table type situation where we've got maybe 3 to 5 people. I will stagger the time and the day just to see which one works the best because I don't want to ostracize or leave anyone out because we're only doing it at this time and this time doesn't work for people in other parts of the world. So I'll try to be as flexible as possible, but um, I want to try to make the idea of people coming together and listening to people read their stories and do a bit of storytelling. I want to bring that back. I've been reading this book, The Social Life of Books, which is basically talking about um, how before the internet, before printing presses were able to print books in large supply, what would happen is people would gather in one home, in one household, they would gather and they would read the book that they had. They weren't able to print books as much as today. Books were expensive to purchase. Some people, didn't know how to read. There were few people who knew how to read. So if you wanted to hear a story and it wasn't something that was, just recited orally from memory, people were starting to write them down. You would go to someone's house and they would read it out loud. And so I want to try to bring that idea back. And so I came up with the idea of doing a TIFF sociable. So I'm hoping for the end of February to do the first one. So in the coming weeks, I'll um, figure out how we can best do that. See who'd want to be willing to do the first one. Um, Again, you guys would essentially come on with me. I'll take a back seat in a way and let you take the floor. You would read um, your story. I'm going to have an idea on what the word count cap would be. Afterwards, we may have a Q&A with that person. Um, that was an interesting. Sorry, I just got a notification from Substack saying my chat was ready. I don't know why. Um, okay, so yeah, so that's what TIFF Sociable would be, and it will hopefully be like well attended. People will love it, and it'll be something that we could do every month. If it's not something that works, maybe we could do it quarterly. But I'm hoping that enough people will be willing. It's difficult, I know, to come on here to have a camera pointed at you, to read your work. It's not something that I know everyone would be willing or able to do. Um, it is something where you have to be willing to come on camera and read your work. So, and we might figure out a way where we can have it that you have your camera pointed at something. Um, you flip it around so you're not on camera, but it has to at least be your voice, right? You have to at least be willing to read it. So we could try different things, experiment to see if there's ways to get more people on. I'm hoping that people who don't want to come on camera, don't want to read their story, but they want their story to be read, will give permission for someone else to read it. Maybe we could try that as well. Um, February will be the first test run on how and this will work. Um, I've got a list of all the people who said they're interested. If you're interested and you're not on Substack notes, but you see my email, please leave a comment. Let me know that you're interested to participate um, in this TIFF sociable for the first one that's going to happen in February. Okay. That was a lot. I didn't think that I would be talking for that long with all the stuff I wanted to mention. I apologize for taking so long. Let's get to why everyone is here, which is the announcement of the 20 featured stories this week. Let me take a sip of water. Okay. So this is for Top in Fiction live weekly number 4 from January 18th to January 24th. Here are the stories that have been selected to be featured this week in poetry. Hunger Games Reimagined by Tracy of Trial and Error. Night by Rolando Andrade of Outside the Therapy Room. Now let's look at micro and flash fiction. The End at and the Beginning by Justin Deming of Along the Hudson. Day 12 by John Kuhn of Strange New Worlds. The Long Tie by Zachary San Martin of the Literary Ledger. At the Crossroads by Maximilian P. Siddle of A Stream of Consciousness. And now, short story Balls to the Wall by James Kenwood of Grim Acres. Shufu by John T. of Ferns of Colombo. Blackout by Fran B. of Tales at Twilight. Five Skeins a Spinning by Hannah Delaney of A Work of Fiction. Flea Market by C.P. Knight of C.P. Knight's Myriadu. The Bagel Shop Incident, A Baker's Dozen Mob by Urshad of Frantic Writing. Heavenly Blue by Kerry Sutherland of Thinking in Capitals. And Counterclockwise by J.L.G. Noga of Darkling. Short Serial. Names by Bree Heron of Writing on a Whim. The Wicked Among Us, Part 2 by Jack Croxall of the Jack Croxall Newsletter. Wild Times at the Ruby Slipper, Part 1 by Chris DeWitt of Dork Mansion Dispatch. And finally, Serials. The Origami Bomb, Chapter 9 by Mark Jarrett of Tesserae Tales. Cairo, 1966, Lost, Chapter 33 by Sue Mann of On the Road to Jericho, a novel. Daughter of Fire and Blood, 2 by Kathy Enriquez Nguyen of The Catacombs. Okay, guys, whew, it's always takes so long to get through those. Um, Maybe next time I will start with the 20. I don't know. I'm on the fence. Should I start with the 20? Should I not start with the 20? So that you guys don't have to stay here and listen to me go on and on for like 20 minutes. Thank you, everyone. This is, I think, the most we've had in the room for the weeklies since I started doing this 3 weeks ago. So I want to thank everyone for joining and look out for that email this Friday. Look out for this email in the next 30 minutes or so. And I will catch you guys next week where it will be February already. And before I forget, um, next week, Wednesday, will be the first live monthly recap. So I'm going to do these for the monthly ones as well. So the monthly recap live will happen next week, Wednesday, at this same time, 10 a.m. So next week, you're going to get me live on Monday to do the weekly. You're going to get me live on Wednesday to do the monthly. So next week, 2 lives. Should be fun. See you then. Bye.